I've had people ask me to mentor them. I've had people ask me for advice outside of just crypto. So I thought I would do one video on what has probably been the most valuable tool to me for my whole life. I have this cute acronym, BASE, B-A-S-E, Brainstorm, Analyze, Strategize, Execute is a process for goal setting that I've used for myself and for my whole company. I had 30 people on this process so that we could work together, and for me personally. So let me go through it here, because this is something I've used so many times I can't even count through my life, okay? And the point is, maybe you've done goal setting, you sit down, try to come up with a plan. I think the key to doing that well is to break it up into these 4 steps, and there's actually a 5th step to review and start over. I'll get to that at the end, but it didn't fit into my acronym, so whatever. But to do each of these steps one at a time, because each is a unique mindset. When you're in brainstorming mode, your mind, you're open to new ideas, you're thinking, you're brainstorming, right? When you're executing, you're not doing that. You put your head down, you're working, right? Analyzing, these are each different, and it's important to take time to do each one at a time. And it can be for any different amount of time. So, in my company, we'd have a whole week, the whole company, sort of brainstorming. Everybody send me ideas, look for new ideas, we talk to people. And then for a week, we're analyzing the ideas and measuring. But it might be for you to do just one day for one of these, or it could even be a month for each one. Now, let me go through in detail here. So brainstorming is, you've probably heard the term. The key to it is no ideas are bad. It's about quantity, not quality. You're not judging any of the ideas. The goal is to get as long of a list of ideas. We used to do this when it was in my company. I'd have a spreadsheet, maybe 100 different ideas just listed down. And one of them might be, you're making ideas for your life. One might be to get a new toothbrush, and the other might be to get a new relationship. One much bigger than the other, one much more important than the other, but it doesn't matter. Just get all the ideas listed down and written down. If it's in your head, it doesn't count. It needs to be written down. You can use a spreadsheet, you can use pen and paper. When I say write, you can type. It just needs to be not just some theory in your head. It needs to be on paper or in the computer, written in words, okay? So this is step 1. Now you get to analyze. So now you've got this long list of ideas. Let's attach a value to each idea. Meaning, okay, well, here's the idea. If it works, how much is that worth to me? If this is a business idea, well, if we implement this change, or if we do this thing, how much money could we make? Or if it's just in your life, well, if I do this, how happy will that make me? Like I said, getting a new toothbrush, great. Well, now I'm going to have a new toothbrush that makes me slightly happier. Get a new relationship, wow, this is a big deal. So now you've valued these. And if it's in business, when I used to do this in business, it felt like going on a treasure hunt. I would go through the ideas, and it would be, well, if we moved the add to cart button over here and made it green, that would be good. That might increase conversions. And then I remember one day I was going through the list, and one idea was if we add PayPal to checkout, and I did some research, and that could be 20% of sales, and I'm like, that's some huge number. I'm like, wow, that's really valuable, actually. So do the analyze. Also, how hard is it to implement this idea, right? Back to the toothbrush versus relationship. Well, the toothbrush, well, I can go on Amazon, order, done, got it. Maybe I should just do that right now, right? Get a new relationship, well, that might be a lot more work. So how much work is on each step? Okay, so now you're done. Now you have your list with values attached. Well, now we get to strategize, which is really, in a sense, also prioritizing. So what do we want to do first? You've got the whole huge list, and you may group things together. And another reason to brainstorm and list all your ideas is because you may have, oh, that's a small thing, I'll get a toothbrush, and I do this, and I do that. And then you find there's like 10 small things that if you group them together, actually it's a big thing. And so strategizing is sort of about organizing the ideas, prioritizing the ideas, and deciding what you're going to do first. And that would be the most valuable ones that are the easiest to do. And there's judgment calls. It's not an exact science creating strategy. But if you've done this work, you know all your options, you've thought deeply, and when we would do analyze, we would have meetings in our company, we would do research, we would see what other companies have done. So now you have the list of ideas, you've thought through them all, and now you're doing your best to come up with a plan. And it's good to think, hey, what do I want 10 years from now, 20 years from now? But when it comes to an actual plan, is my pen going dead? Actual plan that you're going to work on, you can't see out. Actually, Jeff Bezos, he's working on things that are 3 years from now. I'm not Jeff Bezos, I'm sorry. I was really only working on my strategies were, okay, this is what we're going to work on for the next 3 to 4 months, 3 to 5 months. I found it hard to, come up with, to plan on what we're going to do for longer than that. And then, so now you're done, okay, with Strategize. It's time to execute. And what's important about this, I used to do this for my personal life. When I put it in my company, the reason we did it, we were at a point, it was like every day I had, the company grew, and I had some great people who have a lot of ideas. Every day somebody had a new idea, and let's go in this direction, let's go in that direction, and we were just all over the place. When we did this, came up with a plan, and again, it's written down. Now you have a plan, a strategy. We're going to do this, then we're going to do this, and it's written down. I show the whole company, and that's it. Now, all we do in the morning, you look at that written plan, and you work on shit. And you get stuff done. You check stuff off. You cross things off the list because they're done. And when I first started this at my company, people would, the next day, I got a new idea. Great. I'll put that in the folder. 4 months from now, when we get to brainstorming, we'll look at that idea, right? Because keep in mind, we have this written plan. That means, let's say if I took 4 weeks to get to here, 4 weeks of the whole company thinking what is the best thing we can do? We came up with this. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're not going to second guess it. We're not going to be distracted. Now it's time to not think and just do. And then remember I said maybe you do a week of brainstorm, a week of analyze, a week of strategizing, then 3 to 4 months of just execute and follow this plan, okay? There was one more thing I think I wanted to say before I flip my page. Well, maybe it'll come up. Okay, so now you're executing, and the thing is about this, the thing to remember, this is the best you can do. This strategy is the best you can do, and this executing means the best you can do, and you don't have to second guess it. You don't have to keep coming up with new ideas. Put them in a pile for the next time, because then, after about 3 months, you're gonna, 3 or 4 months, you've gone through most of the strategy, and not everything goes as planned. Some things go better than expected, some go worse, some you executed the way you planned, but the results were better or worse than expected. So the next thing that is super important before you do it again is to review. And the review, it's not about when you make a plan, hey, I'm going to launch this new business, or I'm going to do this, and either you didn't do it, or it didn't work out as well, or it went the other way, it was easy and went great. It's not about judging yourself, like, oh, I didn't do it, I suck, or I did it, I'm great. It's not about that. It's about becoming better the next time you set a plan. So if you had a goal and it didn't work, it's not, oh, I'm bad. It's why, so that when I set a goal next time, I will actually do it. Or we thought this thing was going to make $1 billion and it made no money. what was wrong in our thinking process? Oh, it's because I got advice from this guy. Well, then don't get advice from that guy anymore, right? Learn from your planning so that you get better at planning, because a lot of people too make plans and they don't execute it, or the plan was totally unrealistic. That's fine, especially when you're younger and new, that happens. But learn from it. So review is taking inventory, go back through each step in the strategy. Oh, another good point too, when you make your plan, it's not only what are you going to do, but what are the expectations? What do you think is going to happen? Oh, we're going to implement this, it's going to take 2 months, and we're going to make $1 million. So now you go back, how long did it take to implement, and how much money did you make? And if they don't match your expectations, what was wrong in this, what was wrong in this process that made this expectation wrong, so that next time you analyze, you'll do better at this. So this review process is very important, but like I said, it's just learning. It's kind of like if you did split testing on a website, you did an experiment, and one thing worked and the other one didn't. Hopefully you wouldn't be just, oh, whoever's idea was the one that didn't work, you're stupid and you're this. What's the point of that? What you would do is say, why did this one work and this one didn't? And from that you learn, and the next experiment you do, you use that knowledge to become smarter. So that's review, and then you start over. So, like I said, this process to me, as an individual, especially if you're younger, you don't know what you're going to do, this can really help you. And this is what I would do for most people. If you wanted mentoring from me, and I'm not trying to start a program here, but if you were, and it was sort of like one of those broad, what am I going to do with my life? This is what I would say, fine, let's do step 1, brainstorm, make a big list, and then share it with me, and we'll go through it. And then, we would do these steps. So whether you're an individual or you want to do it with the team, this has worked great for me, and I think that's all I have to say on that. Thank you.